Good evening, dear compatriots. Today we're having our English language program broadcast conducted from the Freedom Square, and Dr. Vahe Gasparyan is again our guest. And Dr. Gasparyan, it has been about a month that National Democratic Alliance is initiated the ongoing process of removal of Nikol Pashinyan from the regime. And along that, we have sit-in that is again over the Freedom Square. Could you please explain what is the idea behind why exactly this time NDA initiated this process?
Actually, we have started to demand the removal of Pashinyan from power very long ago, about 2 years ago, just after the 44 days war. But this last month, as we are sure, is the finish line of our national liberation fight. National liberation fight means the occupation of Armenia, because we are confident that Armenia is in fact an occupied country. We call this hybrid occupation because although formally considered to be an independent state, however, Armenia is under total control of Putin's regime and Putin's Russia. Political control, economical, military, etc. So we are sure that unless Pashinyan is removed from power, no progress is possible for Armenia in terms of the foreign policy, in terms of the internal political life, economical developments, and all other spheres of the country life. So first we have to gain the real sovereignty of our country, deoccupy the country, and for that purpose we need to go through the transitional period. And to go through the transitional period, we need to form the national transitional government once Pashinyan removed from power. To remove Pashinyan from power, we need to mobilize our people to start a civil disobedience process and force him to go. So this last month, this sitting here 24 hours is to mobilize the people, to show that this is a crucial and critical point of our fight, and this is the finish line, as I said, of our national liberation fight. And also because, as we can see, the geopolitical changes all over the world, in our region also, are very contributing for Armenia to make those changes. I mean Ukrainian war, Putin's regime weakening, and Putin's regime collapse within coming months, and active role of Western powers in South Caucasus to prevent ethnic cleansing of Artsakh people, to prevent another large full-scale aggression of Azerbaijani military, and to fill the vacuum that will originate when Russia will be forced to leave South Caucasus when Putin regimes will collapse. And Russia is doing its best to fill this vacuum with its Azerbaijani and Turkish brothers, friends, and allies, because it's a nightmare for Russia to see that the Western powers are in South Caucasus. And Russia is doing this using Pashinyan puppet regime. And all we we have seen those 3 years after the war is that Pashinyan served Kremlin, Baku and Ankara interests to stay in power, to keep his power, to remain in the chair of the prime minister. He's doing his best. He is ready to make any concession to stay in power, even if he will need to invite Turkey in the region, even if he will need to let Armenia become a Turkish influence zone. And we know that Erdogan's plans of pan-Turkish influence up to the Central Asia and the so-called Zangezur corridor is to serve these plans of Erdogan, Aliyev, Putin, to serve Chinese economical expansion. But the Western powers cannot let this because it's not in their interest. And Iran and India also. On the contrary, they want to build another architecture of the regional stability, which is North-South-North project. And we had many chances to talk about this project to connect India, Pacific, Indian Ocean and Persian Gulf region with Black Sea and Europe. So in this term, they will need Armenia and Georgia as a important links in this chain of Iran, India, Armenia, Georgia, and then Black Sea and Europe. So we have joint interests. I mean Armenian people and Armenian country, and our national interests coincide with the interests of our Western allies. So those are the geostrategic changes that are favorable and contributing to Armenia being deoccupied. And we have no right to miss this opportunity. This is a really fateful time for Armenia. And we need to use this chance and to deoccupy our country. So this is the finish line of our fight. And I think that September will be a crucial, decisive month. And we will see many interesting and exciting changes in Armenia within coming weeks.
Mr. Gasparian, as you love to mention, the X point is very close. And actually, we're developing that X point. So in that process, it's very important to have the role and activity of the nation itself. For that purpose, NDA also developing awareness of the people, doing the protests, marching, driving in the suburbs, outspeaking about the political the situation. So in recent cases, we know that NDA activists have faced obstacles and aggressive behavior from the authorities. How would you evaluate this? Would you say that Pashinyan's regime is becoming more let's say, authoritarian?
Yeah, sure. This is a panic. This is a panic because Pashinyan and his team, they realized that they crossed all red lines, and they are now persona non grata for the West and for Armenian people. We National Democratic Alliance was on was and is under the informational blockage. So no state media or even private media are allowed to cover NDA activity. And to break through this blockage, we use our tools, our channels, YouTube channel, Facebook channel, to increase the awareness of our people. And I think we have a very good success in this term. So, and Pashinyan says that. Pashinyan says that the people are more and more come to NDA side, and this makes him crazy. And the aggression from his team and from his supporters toward NDA team is explained by this panic, and he realized that he has to go. He was told that he has to go, by the way. So I think this is a natural. He is the authoritarian leader, like his previous leaders and regimes in Armenia, and this is natural because if you're serving not the national interests but the interests of the Kremlin, the only method to press people is the authoritarian tools and methods to oppress the opposition, the national pro-Western parties and movements. And his last activity, pro-Western activity, like sending a humanitarian assistance to Ukraine, sending his wife to Kiev, or calling back the representative of CSTO, Armenian representative, or his interview in the Italian newspaper, are the sign of his panic. He is he wants to show to the Western powers that he is now, at least now, not anymore the Kremlin puppet. He's ready to change the foreign vector. But I think that the Western powers understand that this is the manipulation. He is a liar. He is a chronic liar, and nobody believes him anymore. Neither United States and the Western powers nor Armenian people. And more he realized that, more he becomes crazy. But that's the matter of time, the matter of few weeks, and he will go. He will not be able to stay in power because he says that he is neglected by West, by Kremlin also, because he was not able to make last successions that Kremlin was demanding and is demanding because of the Western powers' pressure and our fight as well. And he is neglected by its own people also inside the country. So no way he has to go, and he will go. You will see this within the coming weeks. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Mr. Gasparyan. So the next topic we would like to talk about is a little bit like exciting news that we had last week. We witnessed that humanitarian aid arrived from France to Artsakh. However, Aliyev, in cooperation with Russian so-called peacekeepers, I even don't want to use these words, but still they are so-called peacekeepers, they never opened the Berzor corridor. So what we can expect the next is going to be, and how we can make change for that, if we can.
Yeah, you are right. The Russian forces, military forces in Artsakh, they are in fact, and de jure, they are occupiers, not the peacekeepers, because they don't have a UN mandate to be there, and also they behave themselves as an occupier. They let Azerbaijani military to do what they want to do. We have seen many examples of the ethnic cleansing in Berzor, in Agavno, and Artsakh blockage under the passive witnessing of the so-called Russian peacekeepers. Regarding last activity of the France and the United States, this is another proof that the Western powers come to South Caucasus and play more and more active role in geopolitical situation in the region. sending the vehicles to Artsakh with humanitarian aid, or last hearings in United States Congress Human Rights Committee. The first one was in June. The last one was just a few days ago. And NDA with its partners, Livingston Group, supported those hearings, and actually mostly those hearings became possible because of our partners Livingston Group activity and help. And we are very grateful to our friends in the Livingston Group for this kind efforts and activity. So I think step by step, the Western powers, United States first and France also, will remove Russia from South Caucasus, and finally Armenia will get rid of Russian-Turkish pincers, will get rid of Russian influence, and will be deoccupied, and will become a real sovereign country, not only de jure but de facto also. Once we are a real sovereign country and we have a national government, and then we will decide which power, which country is our ally, which is not. And as you may know, National Democratic Alliance is striving for securing a major no-NATO ally of U.S. status for Armenia. I think, and we think in NDA, this is the best guarantee for Armenian security. We don't need American soldiers or French soldiers or any other soldiers to come here to fight for us. We need just weapon, military support to be able to improve our military power, and Armenian soldiers will do their job using ally support. So this is a really crucial and historic moment for Armenia, and I hope that in the near future, in the very near future, we will see the huge changes in South Caucasus and in Armenia also. In fact, I would say that what we see now is the real collapse of the Soviet Union. You may be surprised, but when Soviet Union fall apart or collapsed in 1991, this was a partial collapse because the real sovereignty got only Eastern Europe countries and Baltic states, Baltic republics, Estonia, Latvia, and Lithuania. All other republics, former Soviet republics, however, and unfortunately, stayed under the Russian control and influence. And Soviet Union was recalled by CSTO, CIS, all those pro-Russian structures and organizations, and Armenia was one of the countries as a member of those pro-Russian structures. So what we see now is a real and final collapse of the Soviet Union, in fact. So all the countries that were those post-Soviet 30 years under the Russian control will be deoccupied, will got their real sovereignty. And I would say even the chance of decolonization will have the people inside Russia, like Chechen people, Tatar people, Dagestan people, and others who were also colonized by Russia many centuries ago and became part of Russia. So this is the final stage of Russian Empire. 300 years history of Russian Empire is coming to its end. This is a really historic moment. Thanks to Ukrainian heroic army, Ukrainian people, and thanks to national liberation fight in Armenia, in Georgia, in Moldova, in Belarus, which will make this day possible.
Thank you, Vaya Gasparian. And you mentioned a really important points that we're like eager to see. And dear followers, please subscribe our page and follow us, because much more is going to be, and more interesting developments you will follow soon. Thank you.